Have the live streaming, which is going now. So it's recording, but click record as a backup. You asked me if we have a quorum. Do you have a quorum?
I think we do.
Think so, but let me look at the website real quick. So you currently have 7 members. John's here, Naomi's here. I don't think Veronica's here. I believe Miguel is in. Is Ken in? I didn't see. Or Ellie. I think 80 is in. So you have at least 4 out of 7 members, so that is a quorum.
Great.
We're going to start. And then
Let me know.
yeah, does not count on towards quorum, but he is an ex officio member of the committee. It looks like you have other board members in the meeting too.
Right.
So I'm going to make you and Naomi co-hosts, or anybody on the committee, I guess. That way they could help with, because I have to start the public hearing at 7:30. So I'm just going to make any member of the committee a co-host. So that way you have mute all privileges, expel privileges, in case things get out of hand. You guys can, I guess, decide amongst yourselves if you want anybody specifically assigned to that.
Yeah. It's going to be a fast meeting today. There's a lot of little things to get some things to clear up before we move forward with any of these things.
Okay. But if you do go into executive session, if by chance, if that ever happens, you would want we'd have to stop the recordings first before you actually
Got it.
go into that. And then probably boot out members of the public and whoever else you deem fit. All right. I could stay for a little bit, I guess, if you need me.
It's going to be fast, Jeremy. It's going to be really fast. Be good if you could stick around and we can just finish this.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, do you want to wait a little bit longer, or do you want to start now?
We can start now. 7 o'clock meeting, right? We got 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's 7:03 is the time.
Let me know when you start recording.
It's no, we've been recording.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. How are you? Welcome. Hope this is our first meeting after our summer break. Hope everyone had a great summer. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather today, so a little slow. We have the agenda up. Jeremy, you want to put the agenda up real quick?
Hold on.
We're officially starting 7:03. This is the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee meeting. Chair, myself, John Johnson, and co-chair, Naomi.
Internet's stalling on me all of a sudden, just when you need it most.
It's a short one, so I guess first is the old minutes was the first agenda item. I still have to get those out, but the recordings are available on YouTube. Am I correct, Jeremy? On that meeting we had last? Yeah, it is. So we do have that if anybody needs to reference it, but I will make it my business to get it out to everyone. Sorry, I just can't see this now.
If you want me to zoom in, let me know.
No, I got it. The second item on the agenda is the committee restructuring and bylaws clarification. A lot of us were put into this ethics and disciplinary committee. We needed, it was a forum for us to review complaints and other things and see what we can do. But I think at this point, because of the things that are coming into this committee, we need more guidance from the BP's office to what authority we have. Really, buckle down on the bylaws and the guidelines and how to do certain things here, and really instructions for the public, and they're entitled to a procedure of how things work, and what purview and authority that this committee has. We can make recommendations. We can't, fire anybody. We can't have anybody do all those things. All we do is review complaints and see what we can do, or if there's any violation, and then recommend it to the board. So that being said, Naomi and I had a few conversations. I believe Naomi, was it Miguel that's going to help us out with this?
Yes, that's correct. Miguel is helping us out. I just forwarded him my email on what ethics is, the definition of ethics, and also what some other um, community boards are doing in regards to ethics.
Great. Thank you, Miguel, for helping us out with this. So we'll get a team together, and of course, everybody who wants, the board members of this committee will be on that team, and any others who wish to, board members, feel free to reach out, and we can always add you in, and would appreciate any comments and things that you have. But when we first started this and we went down, there was a lot of rabbit holes, and in order to avoid that moving forward and really pay attention to the things that are coming into this committee, we all feel that we have to have guidelines and, um, put things in the bylaws that reflect how and what we can do on these items. Um, so that's number two. So we do have a few complaints that are pending, but to really properly address them, we should do this first. So that way everyone is aware of, the rules and regulations, so we can start this off on the right way. And we will, you think next 30 days, by our next meeting, we should have a draft that we should all be able to review, and then we should go from there and then see. And then we'll, as soon as we can solidify some of those guidelines, then we will apply that to the complaints and emails that we received asking us to review certain things. Um, okay, and Naomi, anything else on this? Okay. Um,
Hey, John,
yeah,
I'm just listening in. Can I suggest something?
sure.
Um, I think we have another person here. Let's see. Nope, she's not on. But I worked with her when we first created the committee. Oh, Edith is on.
Yes.
Okay, she is on with Ellie. Well, it took us months because we didn't get any guidance. They just said, "Listen, you need an ethics committee," and just get an ethics committee going. So we had to work up some procedures, and of course, we told everybody this is a new committee. It'll be amended going forward, but just so that we don't delay some of the other complaints, my recommendation would be to address some of those complaints using the current procedures, and any new complaints that come in, maybe you can apply the new procedures to them. Just because we have some deadlines that we set for ourselves to review complaints and give respondents a response. Unless you and your committee wants to vote to amend those deadlines that we've presented to the public that we were going to abide by. That's my only suggestion.
Appreciate it. Thank you. My only thing is, to provide due recourse on any of those complaints, we have to. I'm hoping to get with some base that we have already to get this done pretty quickly. When we do review these complaints, and obviously there's somebody that's either going to be happy or not happy, and the procedure is attacked. And when the procedure is attacked, we do have a lot of open-ended items that are there, and the again, like I said, it goes down this other rabbit hole. Then we don't even talk about the complaint, then we go after the procedure, and of course, community board and all of this other stuff that just comes up and just propagates into a whole different meeting. So I think in order to avoid that, because there are complaints that are here, and reviewing them without having these strict guidelines in place, I think it's just going to go back to that, you know, back in that little loop over there. I understand what you're saying. We have deadlines to respond to any of these things, but there are no damages here. We'll review them, bring them to the board. We have really no authority to chastise or go after someone and get them off the board or any of that. I think that has to be clearly established and put out to the public and say, this is what we can do. This is we can review it and bring it into the executive committee or wherever else it needs to go. I understand what you're saying. There's going to be a delay, but we'll do it as fast as possible. I'm just worried that if we do review these that are pending right now, it's just going to put us in a bind later on because it's going to be questioned on the procedure of how this move forward. And we're going to reach out to the borough president's office for guidance on a lot of these things and what we can actually do. And I appreciate it. Whatever paperwork you have and Edith has that can send to us, and we can get all on the same page with that. So timing is of the essence. We can definitely do it. I understand your concern, but I just think that if we don't establish something, believe me, these meetings go off the rail all the time. And this way
Right,
we
and we're
can
just
just
going
bring
to
you
be,
right back.
and we're just going to be
Yeah.
right back where we started, and we're not going to be effectively serving the community as we need to in regards to these complaints. And there needs to be some real education of of what ethics is, and this committee is for the community. It's not to bash individuals. It's for the community to make sure that we keep our community safe and ethically in the right direction.
I just like to suggest that we possibly meet before our next meeting in order to expedite that process. I feel like this is a lot of foot dragging, and it seems as if people have been working on this for quite some time, and that might help get the ball rolling on the new guidelines. And that would, if we got something, at least a draft together before the next meeting, we could possibly move forward on the pending complaints.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know. I'm happy to have a meeting in between. I got to ask Jeremy what the specifics on having a meeting like that is. I mean, do we need to invite the public, or is it just a committee meeting? I'll just get some guidance on that. Mika, can you?
John, I'm still here if you want me to quickly
Yeah.
insert.
Go ahead.
You can do limited business via email. Like if you send your committee an email, send a couple of drafts. You can do business that way. If any member of the public wants to foil it, they can foil though. I don't know if that might be foilable since it's between community board members, but you do have the option to do limited business between board members. You just can't almost do official business and start voting via email. And again, if you're coming with a tactical approach with the team, I like that. I'm in support of it. Just make sure you notify the complainants that the current procedures are under review and their complaint might be delayed a little bit.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think what foilability is, since it's in draft form, since it's a draft, it's really nothing official. So whatever we'll have will be stamped draft. So we'll move forward with that. That being said, Miguel, can we set up some type of a Teams thing so we can share? I thought Naomi said you might be able to do that, where we can do a document review based on like a Teams meeting.
Yeah,
And then share notes.
anything that's completely fine. I just, again, I see Diana underneath me. I think that she doesn't want this to take any longer than necessary also. So if we could get something, I'm starting to work on this now. As far, it will obviously be a living document. But yeah, I can definitely set something up where everybody that is on the committee can access it. But I think that we need to start talking about this. If I was not aware that we could do limited business over email, now that I know that, that's definitely helpful. That way we don't have to have a meeting per se. But yeah, I can open that up to everybody that that's involved, I guess.
The biggest thing is that if you're going to meet, you don't have a quorum size element. Because if you have a quorum size element, then that's when you run into a problem. So if 4 of you are going to meet in person or online, that's the issue supposedly. That's when
So let's do this.
That's when it bears on. That's when it gets to the line of being official, or so it's official enough that you should invite the public to your meeting.
Okay, so this way, all we'll be doing is working on a draft. I think we can make a commitment. I can. I mean, I really got to spend some time on this also. So I think our goal should be by the next meeting to have a draft to present, which is in
Mhm.
30 days. Would that work?
I I think it's doable. What do you think, Miguel?
I mean, I guess that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we got to review it, take a look at it, share with everyone. Everyone, would like everyone's input on it, and maybe even run a couple of scenarios to see how that works, and try to avoid things that we've seen in the past and how to mitigate those type of things.
I will forward that to you. I know Naomi sent me quite a few. There, a lot of this has been gamed out in other boards, ethics manuals or things of that nature.
Great. Thank you guys for working on this with us. I think it is an important committee, but I think it's also important to make sure we have moving forward the proper guidelines and the proper information out to the public and to really see what we do because it hasn't been working the way it's going now.
I would just remind everybody not to remember to speak about who's filed a complaint or unless the person brings it up themselves.
Yeah, I think some of the complaints have requested anonymity, so we won't be talking about those. But these, well, that's another thing, right? I mean, there should be something on the form or somewhere where the person making the complaint should request that very clearly, so we don't, violate their trust on that.
I apologize for that. This is my first ethics, so I'm
No
trying
worries.
and I'm
Mike,
pretty.
Miguel was at the leadership meeting where a complainant
The
said they
complainant.
filed a complaint. So, but they didn't do that here necessarily. I just want it's good habit,
And there, I'm most certain that there is a clear request of anonymity on the form.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm sure we asked. I'm sure when we drafted it that that was one of the requirements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there was. I do know that we have an email set up for that and all this stuff. So just really tightening it up and just getting it out there so we can move forward and just have clear guidelines.
Yep.
That's pretty basically everything. That's it. We do have a couple of complaints that it came in. I don't think there's any old business or any new business. Anyone? Okay. Jeremy, want to go to the gallery? Do we have anybody signed up?
Nobody registered to my knowledge, but we do have members of the public. If you want to speak, please raise your hand. Speak now. And you get an initial start time of 2 minutes. Diana Finch has her hand raised.
Yes, I want to say I really appreciate this discussion about the process. One thing I wanted to share from a trade association that I'm a member of, everyone who joins has to sign a code of ethics. And then that's the basis for any sort of ethics complaints that might arise. And I'm not sure that community board members have to like sign a code of ethics to become a member. And I think it could be difficult without having that. So that might be something to think about. And I did file a ethics complaint, and I have to say that the guidelines about anonymity were very confusing. There was one clear mention of in further discussion of the complaint, not revealing specific names, if there were specific names in your complaint. But beyond that, it was just very difficult to know what, if anything, was, were the rules about anonymity. And then I also wanted to draw your attention to something I found in the conflict of interest for community boards.
Mhm.
It's called the top 9 things community board members need to know. And there's 3 points that I think are really relevant. One is community board members may participate in discussions about matters in which they have an interest only after disclosing that interest on the record of the community board. Another is community board members may serve on committees that regularly consider matters concerning their private interests, but may not vote on such matters and must disclose their interest before discussing such matters. Community board chairs are permitted to have an interest in or a position with a firm or not-for-profit organization that has matters come before the community board, but must step down as chair at meetings where such matters are discussed or voted on. It doesn't define here what an interest means. You know, it does refer in other places to direct economic gain, a business, but then it also uses the more general term interest. And I think that this is all very relevant, and maybe the community boards need to ask the city for more specificity about all of this.
Is it,
No,
Diana,
definitely good points.
send that to us or to Jeremy so we could have that? So we can look at
Yeah. I
I
think I just found it by Googling conflict of interest community boards in New York
Oh,
City.
okay.
It was,
I mean,
it
I'm
was
familiar with the
kind of weird
document.
place.
I'm familiar with the document. The real challenge is calling them and getting their interpretation, or the attorney
Yeah.
on staff, because I've had to call them in the past about issues like this. But yeah, it doesn't mean you have to hear what they have to say first and foremost. Unfortunately,
But definitely having community board members sign onto a code of ethics, I think, is key.
Mhm.
Perfect. Thank you. Definitely
Thank you.
appreciate that. Okay, anybody else? Great, I don't see any, oh, okay.
Yes, hi, this is
Yeah.
Roxanne Delgado. I don't see why anyone needs to sign something when they've been told several times their own code of conduct. And if the board members, including this chair, does not abide by their own code of conduct, this basically means that there's no recourse. You say that there's no damages that you know of. There is damages involved. Maybe not to you, but the people that are being perpetrated on with the boards and the chairs, including yourself, but their violation of code of conduct where it resorts to profanity, slanderous remarks, and yelling. I mean, for someone to get involved in their community to be constantly yelled at, cursed at, even alleged slanderous remarks, and you say there's no damages that you know of. You know, you can't walk the talk if you don't. You can't talk the talk if you don't walk the talk. How can you expect the people, public members, to abide by these code of conduct when you yourself cannot do so? Thank you so much.
Great, thanks. All right, anybody else? Okay, I think that's good. It's 7:23, Jeremy. We're good?
you're ready about old business, new business. So
Oh, yeah, new business.
I'm going to end the meeting then for everyone. All right.
Great, thank you, Cyrus. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.